Hi guys, welcome to HealHer Haven podcast. I am your host, Faith Ivaze, and this is episode 2 of HealHer Haven podcast, letting go and glowing. Yes, we are glowing from the things that we are letting go. And you're tuned in today because you are embarking on your healing journey. You want to glow, you want to grow, and you want to be the baddest version of yourself. And in order to be the baddest version of yourself, you have to heal. You have to heal, but you have to take the necessary steps in order to heal and be the best version of yourselves. You can live freely, like there's no weight on your shoulders. You can smile all the time, you know what I'm saying? Laugh all the time, not be depressed all the time. Healing is very positive. It's very therapeutic. And honestly, I feel like people should not be afraid to heal. Don't be afraid to talk about the bad things that happen to you in life. Don't give power to them because they don't have power over you. The more that you silence yourself from the pain that you have dealt with, the more dead you feel inside. You're not truly living. You're not really living life and living out your purpose. So take on this healing journey gradually with an open mind and be the best version of yourself. That is the end goal. And of course, being the best version of yourself is also being very happy and loving yourself. In the previous episode, we talked about forgiveness and living, forgiving those that have hurt you, that have caused you pain. But the next step that I took within my own healing journey was letting go. You must let go of the pain that people have caused you. You have to let go because the mantra that I've been living throughout this whole year is what's for you is for you. What's for you is for you. And in order to receive what's for you, right, and be blessed by that, you have to let go of what's no more so that you can create space and make space what's for you and receive what is for you. You get what I'm saying? So let go of the pain. Let go of whatever anybody ever did to you that made you so angry, so sad, so depressed. Like, how could they do that to me? You have to let it go because at the end of the day, it already happened, right? You can't. Nobody has the power to go back in time and reverse what somebody has done to you. Cannot do it. So what is the whole point of living every single day harboring on to those emotions of what someone did to you? What is it really doing for you but causing you to be bitter? I had to look within myself and I realized I was getting so bitter and angry all the time because of pain I was holding on to from what was done to me at 6 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, 21 years old, 30 years old, 31 years old right now. You know what I'm saying? I had to let go of it because it was doing me no good. It was doing me no good. And I was honestly exhausted and tired. Quick disclaimer, there are multiple avenues in how one can go about their healing process. You can write in a diary, write a book, become an author about your healing. You can write it in a song, do a mixtape, do an album, write a screenplay, do a documentary, listen to podcasts about healing, do a podcast on your healing journey. There are multiple avenues that you can take into healing. You can even do therapy, okay? It is your voice, your perspective, your experience, your truth, and your power, and can nobody take it away. Nor can anyone feel disrespected in your healing, right? So that's just a quick disclaimer. This is all about healing. And sometimes when it comes to healing, you have to talk about your past in order to understand it, process those emotions, because sometimes in those moments when you were traumatized and went through that pain, you're not really able to process it and understand the pain because you're so hurt and you're traumatized. But over time, when you look back, you have to look back at the past, at the pain, to understand it so that you know how to release that pain and let go of that pain and move on from that pain. So it's never to talk about somebody's character or anything like that, because sometimes when you talk about people's past, the people that have caused you harm, they may not be that same person in today's day and age. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we live in a real world. We live in reality. What was done did happen. What that person did happen to the victim. So allow the victim to speak. Even the one that the victimizer or whatnot can speak. So let people heal how they want to heal. One of my favorite quotes by Deepak Chopra, who is a very highly influential spiritual teacher, he said, in the process of letting go, you lose many things, you lose everything, but you will find yourself. And that's music to my ears. So you're telling me that when I let things go, even though it feels like I've lost everything, it feels like I've lost myself, I've lost those that I once loved, things that I've cared about or whatever, that I'm going to find myself. I'm going to find that jewel, that ruby, that diamond, that baddest version of myself. Oh yeah, I'm definitely letting it go. Goodbye, because I am the prize. You are the prize. And don't you ever forget it. Whatever you let go is not the prize. You are the prize. And never put others before yourself. Never put what those experiences were from the past that you shared with other people as the prize. You are the prize. You are that gem. You are that diamond. So shine bright. T for Rihanna. Yeah. Thank you, Rihanna. Shine bright like the diamond that you are. When it comes down to letting go, some people feel like if I let go, I'm forgetting the person that I once loved or I cared for, that I shared experiences with, or I'm excusing that person that caused me pain. I'm excusing them for their behavior and they're winning. Take that mindset out of your mind. They're not winning. And no, you're not forgetting the person, but what you are doing is you're letting go of what was and what is no more. And you're letting go of the pain that has been living inside you for far too long. It's been taking up too much space, rent free, and hasn't given you a damn dime in your pocket to reside with inside you. Makes no sense. When it comes to letting go, you're basically creating space for better things to come to you into your life. Don't you think that what you're letting go, obviously, because you're letting go, it really wasn't that valuable. It really wasn't that positive, that great in your life. Don't you think that there's better out there for you? You're not going to receive it unless you let it go, because you're so stuck on what was. And you think that that's better, that that's the best it can be for you. But that ties down to your self-worth and your self-value that you have for yourself. If you think that you're just worth that mediocre experience where you were betrayed, where you were lied to, where you were cheated on. Now, I'm talking about relationships here. But I'm just giving it an example because that's majority of what most of us deal with is pain from relationships and, of course, childhood. But in regards of a relationship, do you think that's the best that you can get? Is being played, being lied to, being cheated on, being manipulated? I don't think so. You deserve the world. You deserve roses, diamonds, high vibrational emotions, unconditional love, positive affirmations, support. You know what I'm saying? You deserve a confident, healthy relationship. You deserve it all. So if you feel that about yourself, you're going to attract that about yourself. And the only way that you're going to feel and attract that is if you make space for it. And if you let go of what's no more. I'm just saying. I had to come to that realization. And ever since I came to that realization, it's been the best realization I've ever had. You can't tell me nothing. Call it cocky, call it bougie, call it stuck up, whatever. Once you come to the realization of your worth, and sadly, some learn later than others because of upbringings and whatnot and certain social experiences. But once you come up into that realization of your worth and your value, it's up from here. Can't nobody tear you down unless you allow them to and unless you give them the power. So you're telling me that you're choosing not to let go. That means you're giving the people that you're not letting go or the person that you're not letting go, you're giving them your power. If anything, that's weakness. That's weakness. You're basically saying, here, you can have my emotions, you can have my pain. Like, you did all this to me and I'm at your beck and call. Anything you do, it affects me. Anything you say, it affects me because you have the power in my life to move me out my body. What? Nah. Never, never, never. They don't have that power. Don't give them that power. I'm telling you, let go and start embracing self-love, self-worth, and high value of yourself, and start accepting and make room for what's for you and better things for you. The moment that you do that, I promise you won't even think of anyone from the past that has hurt you or anything like that, or any type of experiences you thought were the happiest of your life or the happiest moments of your life. Because I promise you, the moment you receive what's for you that's in a positive light and it's high vibrational, that's a real high. When you hold on to the pain from those who've hurt you, you're doing yourself a big disservice, and you're stunting your growth and blocking the success that you're meant to achieve when you hold on to that pain. You have to make space and let it go in order to reach those accolades that you want to achieve, right? And reach those goals and be able to have more space and mental clarity and focus on the things that you want to achieve. You're not able to focus on that if you're harboring on to so much pain and you're living in emotions that are like filled with anger, resentment, sadness, depression. Like you can't, how can someone focus like that? I'm telling you, you cannot focus like that, because what do people do when they're in those type of emotions? They try to suppress those emotions with an addiction, right? With like alcohol or drugs or smoking or even honestly having sex all the time, or just having multiple partners, right? You have so much negative emotions inside you that you're trying to block it off and suppress it by doing some addictive things that are really not healthy for you. And that's what's stunting your growth and stunting you from becoming very successful in life and being the best version of yourself to reach your purpose that God has for you. For me, and one of my own experiences and how I had to let something go would be a situation from my childhood. I had to let go of the type of father that I wanted to have for myself growing up as a kid. I had a father that wasn't there majority of my time in my childhood. And of course, when it comes to an absentee father, for a little girl, it causes, the little girl to have self-value issues, self-worth issues. And especially that's supposed to be the first love from a man, and how the father leads that version of how a woman is supposed to be loved. That was pretty much warped. So I didn't really have the great display or experience of how a woman is supposed to be loved. And also for my father's sake, I recognize that his limitations in being a good father did not equate to my worth and my self-value. I was holding on to the idea of the type of father that I wanted, and a reality of just accepting him for the best that he could be. After having a conversation with my dad when I was younger, and he was telling me about his childhood and the traumas that he went through within his childhood, I was honestly able to get a bigger, better picture into why he was the type of father he was. And to be honest, once I came to that realization and I understood like the magnitude of who he was, I was able to release that anger that I was holding onto for so long, because he had his own traumas that he went through in his own life, right? And he may not have gotten the therapy or the healing or was able to understand some of that trauma. And so it caused him to make certain decisions that were not of his best self. Why? Because he wasn't living in his best self and the best version of him, because he was harboring onto so much anger, pain, sadness, depression from his childhood. You cannot expect people to be a better version of themselves and to treat you good if they're not even treating themselves good. How can I place expectations on him and get mad at him for not achieving those or reaching that expectation? Who am I to place that on him? And who am I to get mad? I was like, yeah, that's wild. But a lot of us do that. We place certain expectations on people. Like, let's say a mom. Oh, I wish my mom was this. I wish I had a relationship like this on her. Why doesn't my mom do this for me? Why doesn't my mom say this to me? Blah, 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 blah. Why doesn't my father do this? Why doesn't he take me for a boy that doesn't have his father, right? Why doesn't my father come see me or take me to go play basketball or pick me up from school? There's certain things that we can look within our own eyes and like, that's small. Why they could have done that. I expect them to do that. But at the end of the day, right? Everybody has their free will. They have their own choices. Everyone has their demons that they're dealing with, their own traumas. And who are we to place expectations, right? You have to accept people for who they are in the present, for how they're treating you. Accept them for who they are and what they are, right? The less expectations that you place on them, the easier life will be, right? So once I realized all that, I was able to let go because honestly, it all made sense. It made so much sense. And I didn't really have a reason to be mad anymore once I understood. Now, when I tell you, the moment that I was able to let go and not be angry no more at my dad for not being the father that I wanted him to be, I felt so free. Spiritually, I felt free. I felt like my spirit was much more lighter. Mentally, I felt free, like I had more clarity in my mind. I was able to think clearly and not have the thoughts where I'm replaying scenarios of a childhood I wish that I had, or different scenarios of the type of father I wish I could have had. And then also physically, I could breathe. And I just felt much lighter, and I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders the moment I was able to just let go and just be free. I kid you not. It truly is like the best feeling when you just don't give that power anymore, and you don't give that emotional power anymore to those that have hurt you and whatnot and cause you any types of pain, either it be verbally, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, any type of abuse. Let that pain go, and I promise you, you're going to feel so much lighter. You're going to be more happier. You're going to find more joy in life. You're going to find more joy in things that you do. You're going to smile more. You're really going to love on yourself more because you don't feel shackled. You don't feel chained up anymore to your past because now you're living in the present. You're alive. I'm telling you, you feel more alive externally and internally when you let go. Truly one of the best feelings. And it's okay. Don't you want to feel alive? Because baby, I'm living. Big time. You come to the realization that once you let go, you're able to see life through a different perspective, and you're able to enjoy things more. You're able to smile more. You're able to laugh more. You're able to see the positive things in life. You become a positive beacon in your own life as well. So there are huge pluses into letting go, and you don't want to miss out on truly living and feeling alive. Now, when it comes down to the letting go process for like an absentee father, I had to release the ideal father that I wanted. I had to release that. I had to also release any expectations that I had of him. I had to also release any shame or any blame that came from it. I had to release that and let it go. And then the next step was I had to presently, in that moment, grieve and feel those emotions of sadness and anger and loss, because I did not have what I truly wanted, and I had to truly feel those emotions. And once I truly felt those emotions and I released those emotions out of me, and I felt like, okay, I'm fine and I'm safe, that I don't have that, I'm still good and my worth is still top tier, it doesn't equate to that, I was good. Now, after grieving those emotions and letting those emotions go, I had to then open up space to receive healthy love from men that can give that to me. I have to make space for that to come, or when it comes, because I was so used to a toxic dynamic of love from a man because of the daddy issues and what I was, what he displayed for me in childhood. I thought that was all the type of love that a girl's supposed to get. Baby, was I wrong? Baby, was I wrong? So now that I'm open to the space of receiving healthy love from men, I'm able to recognize red flags even stronger, and I'm able to recognize green flags even harder. And all I see are green. And we're not talking about money. I'm just talking about like the positive things in a man. All I see are green flags. And of course, if I see the red flags, we're not even looking back. Now, one of the exercises that I did to help out on my healing journey was journaling. My therapist gave me some great advice on doing that because it's very therapeutic, because you're able to, it's a form of releasing, but you're also processing and also understanding at the same time what you went through and how it made you feel, and you're able to express it in writing form. So when I was doing that, I talked about a past relationship that I had with an ex and how traumatizing it was. It was honestly my first heartbreak, and like the betrayal, and it was pretty toxic. Not all the time, but a good portion of it was toxic. And I was just writing out and journaling that, and I was journaling about my father and my childhood and the pain that I had from him and pain from another situation in family and whatnot that happened to me. Writing out all these emotions and what they did and how it made me feel. And then once I did that, I felt more freer, right? Because I'm able to see the pain that was done to me, how it made me feel, and then also I wrote out what I wanted from those scenarios, like the opposite of the toxicity that I received, right? So when it came to the relationship, how I wanted to be loved, what my love languages were, I was able to recognize my green flags, what green flags that I wanted. In regards of my father, I was able to honestly just really forgive him and forgive myself, and also just be able to have more empathy and sympathy for him as a person. And I was also able to write down and understand my worth and my self-value more. I recognized it, and I created more of a strong foundation for it once I was able to write it down and let that stuff go. It's a really fun process, and I do recommend you guys to try journaling and just seeing what you've experienced. Write down how each experience made you feel, and then write something positive about yourself afterwards. Game changer. When it comes down to letting go and the letting go process, don't get me wrong, it is a heavy load to bear, but it is so worth it. Sometimes it feels hard to do it because you feel like when you're letting go, a piece of you is being taken from you. But mind you, that is an old version of you that I'm sure you don't want to attach yourself to anymore, because that version of you wasn't so positive. It didn't attract anything good for you. So why would you want to relive that, right? So once you let go of that, all that, and do all the heavy load work, you'll be able to feel much lighter. Things will be much lighter. You'll enjoy life more. You know what I'm saying? And good things will happen to you and come to you. What's for you is for you. Don't you ever forget that. Now, some affirmations that I would say to myself or out loud, just to help me with the letting go process, I would say, I let go what is not for me and who is not for me. And I attract and I receive who is for me and what is for me for my greatest and highest good. Okay? When you say that repeatedly, it does something. It does something in the spiritual sense and in the physical sense. And the more that you say it, the more that you believe it, and you put intentions, pure intention into it, like real faith, you'll start to see it coming to you quicker than you expected. And you'll start to see people just finding ways to leave out of your life. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything. They just end up leaving. But that's because you manifested it. Because the ones that end up leaving after you say, I no longer attract what's for me, what's not for me, and I attract who's for me and what's for me, the ones that start leaving are the people that were never for you. They were never for your greatest good, for your highest self. So that should be proof and evidence enough for you to let go of these people that are just not for you and that have brought toxicity and trauma and pain into your life. Letting go is about releasing the grip that it has on your present so that you can glow and grow and be the best, baddest version of yourself that you're meant to be in this life and truly live and feel alive. When you release what no longer serves you, you make space for peace, love, and growth. And those are all things that we need in this world, especially on this healing journey that we're on. As we wrap up today's episode, I just want to remind you that letting go is not about forgetting who hurt you or pretending that it didn't happen. We are humans. We experience hurt and pain. But the point is to not reside in that hurt and pain. The longer that you hurt in it, the more dead you're going to feel inside. Remember that your healing journey is not a destination. Every small step that you take towards release is a step towards wholeness. And we want to be whole and one. Okay? Thank you guys for joining me on the second episode, Let Go and Glow, of HealHer Haven podcast. Like, share, and subscribe, but definitely share it and send this out to someone that you feel needs to let go of some baggage and some pain that they've been harboring and that they don't need no more. Because what are we doing? It's the end of 2025. We're getting closer to it. About 3.5 months left. Thank you guys for tuning in to HealHer Haven podcast. I am your host, Faith Ivaze, and this is her journey, her healing, her haven. And we're being our baddest selves. Clock that T.